This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and other nerd news.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access to not one, but two podcasts. You get Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben and I talk over things instead of play it because we're lazy. And that's Hell You're Walking Into, a podcast where Ben mostly these days just like shows me his phone with Fate Grand Order on it and says, please explain, help me.
What these things do?
What thing do? What is Buster Beams? And then I have to explain what a Buster Beam is.
Sara, I have 30 toucan skulls. What do I do with these?
You use them as ascension materials. Anyways, if you think that sounds like a good time, and personally I think it's a great time, head on over to patreon.com/thegorge and kick in a little bit. We really do appreciate every single one of you.
Special thanks to our patrons, Neon Hellcat, Patrick Perez, Roddy 1/2, Hasso Toby 27, Saturn, Alice Marks, Shia, Otzi, Magus, Aquamancer, Jack Tubes, Liam Lane, and that other one dude.
Cool. So,
yes.
Ben, what have you been doing this week?
Fucking nothing.
Oh, that's right, because you bought a house.
I bought a house. We finally got the keys very early in January, and I have had very little time to play or do anything besides work and then go to the house and fix that up. That's coming along pretty nicely, though. We got painting done. We got to call some guys for flooring and do some work in the basement and
all that fun adult shit.
I did have time for a few minor things. AGDQ happened, so I watched a couple of runs for that.
The best.
Always a good time. I've gotten used to it being a digital only show now. I do still miss the crowd, but I've adapted to it. I watched they had a really good Donkey Kong Country run. The race where it was for 70%. It was literally frame synced.
Yeah, I watched that one, and it's super good because, like you said, they are in perfect sync for most of the run. I watched the two Sonic World Records that happened back to back. I wish Mania had also hit the world record because I think that would have been very cool. Let's see, what else did I watch? I watched the very good Silent Hill 3 speedrun.
I need to watch that one.
Yeah. Basically anything that's kind of in the horror block. Anything run by Maxie and kind of the people on Maxie's couch. They're all really good commentators, and they've all known each other for a long time, so they all have good chemistry. So the Fear run, Maxie did a Fear run, Maxie Lobes on Twitter and Twitch. He did a Fear run, and then one of his friends did the Silent Hill run, and those were both super, super good, so I highly recommend. And then there was a Haunting Grounds run as well in the horror block that is extremely well done and very smartly commentated. So I like horror speedruns. I do. I think they're the best because it's we took this scary thing, now let's go real fast. And it's always very funny to me to just imagine Heather just kind of zipping past monsters in Silent Hill, fuck you, Claudia, I ain't got time for your shit.
Nope, not doing this.
Nope, excuse me, just elbowing her way past all the hideous monstrosities of Silent Hill 3. I think that's great. Definitely kind of takes, because Silent Hill 3 is the scariest game in that series, and it absolutely reduces the fear factor to 0.
Right.
So,
I also watched the Donkey Kong Country 2 run, where they did a ROM hack version of it that is extra hard, kind of like a Kaizo, but Donkey Kong version. It was super, super interesting, and a game that I don't think I could beat normally. They had this one level that required you, it was, the Bramble Blast level where the vines are all around, you have to hop in the barrels and shoot off and stuff.
Okay. No, but I believe
they
you.
did
I don't think I've ever played more than like a combined 30 minutes of Donkey Kong
okay.
games.
Well, they did a version of that where you transform into one of the mechanics is you transform into the animal buddies. Like you get a barrel and you turn into the animal partner. They did a level where in the same like it's like a vine maze, and you have to turn into the animals and guide them through their corner of the maze so that they can despawn and turn into a TNT barrel that you then have to use to clear out enemies to actually get to the goal. And you have to do it in one go. You can't, if you die, like, it doesn't preserve, all the enemies reset. You have to do it all in one life, and it's like insane. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is this thing?
Can I say something, by the way? I don't know if it's just me, but like, does Donkey Kong Country look creepy to you?
Donkey Kong Country 3 looks creepy to me.
Whichever one the race
was the first
for.
one, yeah.
It's something about like the sprites being so like they're supposed to look 3D, but they are still just sprites. I don't know. They give me there's some just kind of weird in they have strange Photoshop quality to them that has always bothered me. I think they look very odd. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even explain it, but every time I see that game in movement, plus like I don't like the art style of that game.
You and Miyamoto both.
And I think like really? The only thing I'll ever agree with Shigeru Miyamoto
The reason
about.
he made, or I guess it's kind of allegedly, but allegedly the reason he made Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, with the crayon style, is because he did not like the 3D realism of Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, it looks really creepy. Like, there's something very, very off-putting about it that I can't quite put my finger on. It has, like, mad OG Five Nights at Freddy's vibes.
I guess I can kind of see that. I think it doesn't help that, like, the first one's, like, it is a bit more, like, grounded in, like, realism.
Yeah. It's very, like, all the monsters and their big googly eyes and yeah, there's just something very strange about it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I can see that, though, but, I think by Donkey Kong Country 2, they nailed the art style a lot more. Like, everyone's a bit more cartoony proportioned.
Right.
And it's going for a bit more of, like, an actual aesthetic than just, like, Mayan temple and treetop level. But no, that race was super good.
Yeah. Anything else?
You know, some more Transformers came.
Sure.
I finally got my Gigawatt, which I'm very happy about. Which is the DeLorean.
Oh, right. Okay.
It looks really, really sharp, actually.
You finally you've combined the two loves.
And I'm excited because the comic is actually really good. That is accompanying the figure. There's a 4-issue miniseries coming out. That is really good and way better than Transformers vs. Terminator was. Which started off really strong and then kind of just dropped off.
Oh.
Like,
no.
I don't really care about spoilers too much because it wasn't very good.
Okay. Oh, sure. I don't care. You know,
but
I don't
I'm
care
just giving
either.
a warning to anyone who might want to be interested in it. It ends with the Terminator just blowing up the Arc 1 with all of the Autobots in it. And then then he dies later on, and Optimus is like, well, he's already dead, so there's nothing more we can do. Guess we'll just move on. And it's like, Optimus, there's only like 3 of you left now.
Guess we'll just sail onward.
Well.
Too bad about all of our dead friends. Oh well.
And then I also did finally arrive. I got the Studio Series Voyager class hot rod that is based on the '86 movie. And Voyager class means it's very, very intricate and highly detailed.
You got fancy.
Usually that term is for like bigger dudes. Like, you know, they have classes. Like Warrior class is for kind of smaller, easier toys with like a gimmick, like they fire a missile or they spins on them. And deluxe class is like your standard. It's like it doesn't do anything. It's got some pretty decent detail. And it has a fairly complicated transformation. And then Voyager class is like the step above. It's usually much bigger and it's way more complicated. You're talking like 35 steps to transform it. Hot Rod is a nice Voyager class because he's not very big, which means he scales nicely with like everyone else, because like he's supposed to be the young, cocky leader type, so he's not supposed to be very big. So he scales really well with all my other deluxes, but he's got a nice, complicated transformation, and I really, really like him. He's my favorite Hot Rod so far, besides the one that you got me.
Aw, great.
He is also...
I'm glad.
He is also the 6th Hot Rod I own now.
Oh, boy, you really have just gone full Transformers, Mark.
Well, especially for Hot Rod and Soundwave, which I also did pick up another deluxe Soundwave, so I'm happy with that. I have 3 Soundwaves now. I do have a Warrior Voyage and deluxe class Soundwave now. I have
oh my god,
deluxe Cyberverse, Warrior Cyberverse, Studio Series Voyager, Titans Return Deluxe, Studio Series 45 Deluxe, and the Generations one you got me. So yeah, 6 Hot Rods now.
Oh my god,
I have a favorite.
It's fine. I own 700 different types of stuffed giraffe, so I understand. Mine's a bit more broad, I guess, but still, I understand. But hey,
now,
speaking of giant robots,
yeah, I guess
there is one thing both of we're not gonna turn this into a full episode, but there's one thing that the both of us have been playing despite everything being kind of bonkers.
Yeah.
Hey, how about that 13 Sentinels though?
We did find some time to squeeze a bit of 13 Sentinels in.
We haven't got very far. I think I'm about
I haven't even unlocked all 13 of the Sentinels yet.
I have not either. I have got 11 open at this point.
I think that's what I have too.
And according to the tracker, I have done about 23% of the story part, like the visual novel part. Not the. I think I've done about 20% of the attack part. So I'm not very far. Obviously, there's still a lot of video game to go, which blows my mind.
Every fucking thing about like every new chapter is just like someone will say a line and I'll be like, what?
Excuse. I texted you that so if you haven't played 13 Sentinels yet, we're not gonna do any spoilers, don't worry. But it is it's a game that's told non-linearly, and so they have a little section that puts it into a timeline for you to kind of let you like go back and see it all in chronological order to the best of its ability, considering the caveats of that story, but I'm not going to tell you. And I opened the first like part of that timeline, and I texted you and I said, when you find out when the first part of the timeline happens, you are going to go insane.
And I
was right.
It's funny because 13 Sentinels is a game that's like, it's like, like a 26 episode anime, which is not told chronologically for the sake of the narrative. Like, it has flashbacks and whatnot. But it's like you're also, not only is like, are the episodes not like set in chronological order from start to finish, it's also like you're watching the series out of order.
Well, literally it is, because you can just pick. It's literally like somebody gave you a series and said, you can pick any episode you want to be your starting point. It doesn't matter. Because, like, you can just pick, like, you don't have to do it linearly. You can just pick whichever protagonist story you want to hear the most about. And it's like, oh no. So, like, I think it's extremely funny because it means that, like, neither of us will have the same experience. Like, what will be a huge revelation to me might just be like nothing to you, and I think that is extremely interesting.
And the hardest thing about it is the fact that I can't, like, text you like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened.
I know.
Like, I don't know, maybe you didn't get to that one yet.
I have no idea where she is. Yeah, exactly. Same thing here. Like, when you were in the prologue and I was out of the prologue, you could text me and be like, what the fuck? And I'd be like, you have to tell me what, because there's a lot of what the fuck in the prologue. You have to be more specific. But then, like, now that you're out of it, it's like, we can't even talk about it until the actual episode. Like, I don't even know. I can't even ask you where you are right now.
I don't know where I am.
I have no idea where I am in comparison to you. I have no idea what I'm going... If I say something, like, am I going to accidentally spoiler something for you?
We have to, like, text each other, like, vague memes and be like, does this mean anything to you?
Have you got to Juro's dream yet? About him and Morimura?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that one's gonna make you crazy too when you get there. Alright, good to know. You're gonna go, yeah, no. There's so many times where I will end a chapter and then just sit there and be like, does that mean what I think it means? Surely not. And then I'll think about it more, and then they'll tell me that's exactly what it means, and then I'll have to be insane again. I don't like it.
I'm playing this game, and I'm like, if this turns out to be all a fucking dream, I'm gonna be so goddamn pissed off.
I'm gonna be so pissed. I don't think they're gonna... Everybody has said that this game sticks the landing. So, which also shocks me, because a game of, like, this magnitude and ambition should not be able to stick the landing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, considering everything going on in this story, there's no way. But everybody says it has a good, satisfying ending. Like, everybody on our Discord and stuff, too, who has finished it. So it's like, well, all right, I guess I'm gonna go through this whole monster and see what's going on.
It's like I told you, like, I'm really glad this game only has one ending, because if it had multiple, I would have been like, God. No.
Oh, fucked. Absolutely fucked. Like, yeah.
Like, there is no real, like, character choice, because you're just gonna end up doing everything. It's just a matter of what order do you do it. So we're never gonna be like, right. Oh man, can you believe when this character died? And you'll be like, that didn't happen. And I'll be like, what?
Yeah. Excuse me? Yeah, no. Fortunately, it all seems to be very set in stone. Like, the actual events can't be changed. So that's good. But I am fascinated because, like, I feel like I've already revealed a lot of stuff. Maybe not, like, answers, but, like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I am now aware of. But I'm only 25% through the game.
It really does feel... Someone pointed out, it really does feel like trying to spoil 13 Sentinels is like trying to spoil JoJo. Because you can just say something happens and it means nothing until you get there.
Oh, absolutely. Without the context, it is basically like... It's gobbledygook. It means nothing to anybody but yourself without any context surrounding it. I could tell you things, and you'd be like, okay, I don't know what that means. So, yeah, no. Highly recommend. I'm not even done with this game.
This is...
I feel like a fool. I should have... This is Disco Elysium all over again. I can feel it in my bones. I'm sitting here like, I should have beaten this game before the end of 2020 so that I could give it.
This is really like, did you like Disco Elysium and do you like anime?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Are you in that Venn diagram? This is the game for you.
It's the only video game that's ever been... If Yoko Taro himself demands you play a video game, you are honor-bound as a video game liker to play it.
And by like anime, I mean, do you like anime?
Like anime. Like, did you watch Cowboy Bebop when it first came out in the United States?
Have you ever downloaded fan subs? Like, you...
Did you watch anime when it was in three parts on YouTube back in the day?
That's the people you need to be. It's not some Crunchyroll bullshit. You need to go a step deeper.
No. you have to be on another level. Also, I guess if you're like a Chainsaw Man fan, and I've never even read Chainsaw Man, I just like look at it and I kind of like, I look at like apparently all the bonkers shit it's doing, and I look at 13 Sentinels and I'm like, yeah, those probably seem analogous. So
I didn't read all of
I guess
didn't read all of Chainsaw Man.
The next step is for me to read Chainsaw Man, because I have approximately 15 people on Twitter at any given moment being like, Sarah, when are you going to read Chainsaw Man? Sarah, when are you going to read Chainsaw Man? I'm like, I'm going to get there eventually, I swear. I'm working on it. I got to finish this nightmare that is 13 Sentinels first.
I didn't finish it because it was too beyond me.
Oh, that means shit. You just really sold me on it.
I was reading it and I'm at the point where I'm like, this is so abstract that it's not hitting me. It's like I get it. I totally understand it. But I'm too much of a pleb to like appreciate it.
Oh, I can't wait. I've got to. What do you guys? I know, like, what do you just use? Like,
yeah,
the Viz
I just have
app?
the Viz app.
Okay, I'll use that then. Yeah, no. So I'm loving 13 Sentinels. That's the point. Please look forward to the 3.5 hour long episode about it, where we inevitably need like 6 guests to help.
Like, what was our last like most recent long? Like, the longest one I can remember right now is fucking Detroit, which was 3 hours long.
I think Detroit our longest episode.
You know what? I can check real quick, actually, while you tell me what you have been doing.
That's basically it. That's why I was very excited to talk about 13 Sentinels, other than just like, I've watched almost everything that Tim Rogers has made lately. I basically consumed all of his action button reviews on YouTube, and then I've been like working through his backlog on Kotaku. If you are a video essay weirdo like me, if you're a video essay weirdo like me, please join our Discord. We have an entire channel dedicated to talking about video essays on YouTube because I like them so much. But also, if you're a video essay liker like me, you can't go wrong with Tim Rogers. He has a 5-hour-long episode about Tokimeki Memorial, a dating sim that never came out in the United States. So, that alone should kind of explain to you what kind of channel you're working with. But yeah, no, I mean, he talks in depth about, like, Pac-Man, you know? He's going through, like, a list of, like, games he really likes.
Like, just regular Pac-Man?
Yeah, just like OG Pac-Man talked for like 3 hours. Because like it's, you know, it's impossible to explain it unless you have watched one. But I saw Jacob Geller commented under one of the videos, and his like comment sums it up perfectly, which is, you'll have to give him a minute, son. He needs to talk about his entire life before he can talk about the video game. So there's a lot of... It's a type of game writing that has recently emerged in the last, like, 5 years, called the post-review. It's like postmodern video game reviews, which is that, like, they're centered around not just, like, the quality of the video game itself, but the individual kind of ways that it, like, vibes with the reviewer. Not just from, like, a very stock, like, the graphics are good and the gameplay is nice, you know? Like, there's more going on in the review than that. It's like a whole genre that has kind of emerged lately. You saw a lot with, like, Disco Elysium and shit like that. A lot of reviews. Nier Automata had a lot of reviews kind of centered in that style. Tim Rogers, like, all of his videos and his old writing and shit is extremely similar. So, highly recommend. They are very, very fun to watch. They are also completely insane. Like I said, 5.5 hours or something like that about Tokimeki Memorial. Yeah. It made me want to play Tokimeki Memorial, though. I think there's a fan I don't know if there's a fan translation of Tokimeki Memorial or not. But, yeah. So, that's basically what I've been doing, other than, like I said, since the last time we did a roundup, like, the thing I have been playing is 13 Sentinels, which we just talked about. So, that's basically it. Yeah, easy, what have you been playing sequence? Sequential? Sequential sequence? I don't know. Section? We should probably talk about other things. Oh, yeah.
By the way, yeah, it was Detroit Become Human at
I knew
4 seconds under 3 hours.
Wow. We really talked for 3 hours about that horse shit
About a game we didn't even like.
Man. That makes sense, really. Mm-hmm. You know, you have a lot to say about bad video games, too, so...
but I have a feeling 13 Sentinels will very easily trump that.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. It's gonna be great.
But, I thought, but now I lost it. Okay. But yeah, so that was it then? Okay.
That was it.
Cool.
Yep.
Let's get into the news. Some stuff's been happening because we missed December.
Hey, the news keeps happening. No matter what. The news is literally happening. It is Tuesday, January the 26th, as we are recording this. And the news just keeps happening, y'all. It refuses to stop.
So, let's get into it. First and foremost, breaking news from today. Reddit traders said GameStop stock skyrocketing again, an ongoing fight with Wall Street. Sarah, what the fuck is happening?
That's a good question. Okay, so first and foremost, there is a subreddit called Wall Street Bets. Wall Street Bets is just like Reddit nerds day trading, like trying to make money off of cheap stocks, and like volatile stocks and shit. Just to kind of like, you know, it's shit posting as stock trading, right? Basically. And so, I mean, that's what they do. And so they have there's like literally hundreds of thousands of people on this subreddit. And one user, a guy named, well, not one user, but like one of the instigators of this incident is a guy named Deep Fucking Value. And the whole idea between him and a handful of others was like, what if we just all bought stock in GameStop, which has been trading poorly over the last year.
You know? As a joke.
As a joke. And they did. They did that. They all bought stock in GameStop because it was cheap. And because of the way stock market works, when you buy that stock goes up. If you have a lot of people buying that stock goes big up. And as of today, January 26th, 2021, like I said, where is it? GameStop was the most traded equity on the planet today with $20 billion in volume. $20 billion in volume.
What the fuck?
That's a lot. The super bonkers part about this, and the part that I like the most, is that a handful... Okay, sorry, we have to rewind this really quickly. Do you know what shorting stock is?
No, I do not. I play video games.
Okay. Well, the short version of shorting stock is that it's kind of like gambling. You put in money, and this is like a really stupid version of it. I'm sure somebody listening to this is like, Sarah, this is not entirely accurate, but this is like the very dumbed down version of it that was explained to me. It's basically like gambling. You are putting money on the fact that the value of this stock will go down. And if that stock's value goes down, you make money, right? And so there's a handful of hedge funds on Wall Street that have been shorting GameStop stock for a while now. So the cost of GameStop stock going up that precipitously is really bad for these guys. One of them has already had to ask for a bailout from the government for the amount of something like $3 billion. And if this continues, then that same hedge fund, if this continues tomorrow, like if it keeps going up or even if it stays at where it is, that hedge fund will be something like $11 billion in the hole and will essentially be bankrupt.
What the fuck? GameStop's gonna break the economy.
Yeah, so they are basically going to just, like, demolish a bunch of... And, like, I hate hedge funds. Nobody likes hedge funds. They're basically, if you work at a hedge fund, you don't have a real job. Sorry. And you are basically, like, gambling with, like, regular people's lives in order to, like, you know... You are gambling, hoping that people will lose their jobs in the case of, like, GameStop. You want GameStop to fail so that you can make money, right? So nobody likes these people. So I think the idea of a hedge fund going bankrupt because of a bunch of bored Redditors is, like, ideal. I think it's perfect. I think it's great. Because, like, the economy is essentially just... It is this. Like, you know, they say, like, insider trading is illegal. Insider trading is only illegal if you get caught. Like, they all do it. I mean, like, the stock market is basically controlled by people who are like, we're all gonna decide to put money. Like, it's all fake. Yeah. All of it, that's the most important takeaway from all of this, is that, like, it's all fake. If you can convince a bunch of rich people that a piece of rotted wood is worth $11 billion, that piece of rotted wood is worth $11 billion. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, money isn't real.
And money isn't real. No, money is not real. And so this whole fiasco has just made it incredibly obvious to, like, everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, there's so many, like, hedge fund assholes on Twitter, like, tweeting about how bad this is, and one of my favorites was, like, some dipshit who is saying that it's the same as if hackers defaced a government website and how bad that would be, and I'm like...
Also, one thing that would be
cool.
rad...
That's also extremely cool. You seem to forget that normal people think that kind of thing owns, actually. So yeah, I think this is cool. I hope it does drive many hedge funds out of business. I think it's especially, like, fuck Elon Musk, but he did also tweet about it, and that brought even more people to go buy GameStop stock. It's so funny. It's so funny to me. It's insane, and trying to explain it and make it sound reasonable is hard. But, you know, it's fine.
Here is a quote from someone on the Wall Street Bets subreddit, from this Kotaku article. We can think and make decisions for ourselves, which scares the fuck out of old school institutions and hedge funds, wrote one person on the subreddit. Fuck them all. This affects every single one of you, whether or not you're holding GME, TLDR, fuck hedge funds. This is a crosspoint to the future.
Yeah, it owns. It's very much like if these dorks on Reddit felt so inclined, they could keep this up. They could keep this stock up until even more, because there are several companies that are shorting this stock, and they can wait these people out. Like, it is funny. They kind of have more. They're just stupid enough that they can't really be talked down from doing this, which I think is very interesting. So it's funny.
My question is, what the fuck is Reggie doing about this right now?
Oh, that's right. Is he still on the board?
I don't know. I can't remember if he's moved on or not. I remember like vaguely hearing that like he wasn't on the board of directors anymore. Like when it started like
I don't think he's on the board anymore. I think
the pandemic first hit and GameStop started tanking and he's like, I'm out.
I think he did leave around then. I'm kind of
he's just watching this and being like, phew, dodge that bullet.
Oh, thank God. So I'm really interested to see where this will go in the next couple days. And I think this is a very interesting developing story. So maybe we'll talk about this next month and be like, yeah, Reddit crashed the economy.
When we're doing it by Telegram because the entire infrastructure got taken down by the apocalypse. And,
by bored Redditors.
Total socioeconomic collapse caused by Redditors buying GameStop stock. And
don't forget to send us your address on Patreon if you are a patron, so we can send you the transcript of the episode via snail mail. Just in case.
Next month's takeout will be just us imagining a movie because we can't actually like watch anything anymore.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah. I think it's a very interesting story. It's been very funny to watch all of this happen in real time on Twitter. To go from seeing people post about it on Wall Street bets, because like occasionally it would trend on like the front page of Reddit, and being like, oh, okay, that's what these idiots are doing. Because like, they trend occasionally, and you're just like, there are those idiots on Wall Street bets again. Most of the time, it's them complaining about having lost money, and it's like, oh, well, that's what happens, idiot. And then it's like, oh, we should buy GME stock. And it's like, oh, okay. And then a couple days later, it's like all over Twitter because things are going crazy very quickly. I love it. So we'll see where this goes.
So that was the biggest news story for the month. But we do have a bunch of stuff because, again, we missed December. So I have a bunch of older articles, but they're still worth talking about. Square Enix to offer permanent work from home program as of December 1st.
Speaking of the market collapse, this is basically the beginning of the end, I think, for a lot of commercial real estate. Tons of companies are just deciding that like you can go permanent because they're saving a lot of money. Like the company is being saved a lot of money on rent.
Yeah, my dad who is big in GM is like, yeah, all the plants, all the office buildings up here in Michigan are still like vacant basically. Like the plants are operational, but like the offices, like no one's going back there, and you're gonna be really hard pressed. Like even when the pandemic is over and you're hiring new people, like you're gonna be hard pressed after over a year of this to be like, what do you mean you guys don't offer remote work? What did you do last year?
Yeah. Right, yeah. And I mean, it really is for a lot of companies like a big money saver because you're not spending money in rent, you're not spending money on bills, you're not paying tons and tons of money to keep the lights on. So that power bill is now significantly lower. You are not paying nearly as much money for fucking air conditioning, all kinds of stuff like that. It sucks because all of that falls onto the employee instead, which is horseshit. But it's very interesting because like a lot of companies, a lot of the real estate crunch that's happening in like big cities like Seattle and San Francisco and New York, like these rent boom is happening because, especially over on the West Coast, big tech companies were there and everybody had to move to the city to work there. And so like landlords were like, hey, well, because landlords are scum and create no value. Don't forget that. landlords were like, hey, all these rich people, you know, they're moving to these cities, they've got high paying tech jobs, we can jack the rent up and rent buildings to them instead. And then they did. And basically just like that's what caused the spike in rent in like Seattle and places like that. And the problem is that now you don't have to live in Seattle to work for Amazon or Microsoft or wherever. You just stay at home. And I'm very interested to see what that does, because like a lot of big buildings in major cities are just office
right?
space. Like most of them.
What do you repurpose those as? Like, if they're not going to be offices?
If we lived in a sane society, it would be housing.
But we don't. So what are they going to become?
They're going to become nothing. They're just going to become. They're frankly still more valuable empty than they are turning them into like affordable living spaces. So they'll just sit there empty until some kind of insane breaking point. I don't know, honestly. Yeah, it's weird because like even here in Alabama, a bunch of like down in Birmingham, a handful of companies have either gone fully remote work or they've just relocated. They relocated like Philadelphia or something like that. And so now like there are entire massive buildings, and this is Alabama. We don't have that many massive buildings. But there are like 3 big office buildings that are now just sitting empty. And it's like there's nothing to fill those spaces with. People aren't going to want to go in. Like, of course, most people would prefer to be at home if they have a computer job, you know? You don't have to spend money on gas. You're not living in your car. Like, tons of people are made miserable every day. I know you used to live through it with their shitty commutes. Like, and now there's no more of that.
And
it's like, yeah, I think most people would rather stay at home.
It's funny how, like, being able to work from home used to be kind of like a luxury almost for, like, very exclusive jobs. And, you know, in the span of a year, that's turned into the norm now. The default is going to be work from home because you will never convince new hires that they need to come to the office.
No, absolutely not. And it's funny to me that it was so rare, because now we realize, like, oh, we could have just been doing it all this time. And it's like, oh, all those excuses that, like, bosses gave. Like, my old job, I started a new job in August. And my old job, at the beginning of this pandemic, I got to work from home. And then, like, halfway through the last year, they're like, you need to come back to the office, because we want you to be in the office instead. And I was like, oh, okay. Because, like, some people still have control-freak bosses. And then I got my new job, and I was like, peace, I'm out. I'm not going to stay here and catch the plague. I mean, I caught it anyways, but still. You know, it's insane to me when especially you have so many computer jobs that allow people to stay at home and not have to drive 1 billion miles a day and, you know, waste their lives in their car. So many people have to just throw away 2 or 3 hours a day of their lives just sitting in a car getting to their jobs. And they don't have to worry about that now. Well, at least a lot of them don't. And yeah, no, it's very interesting to me to again, it's very much like what the GameStop story is. I want to see what this looks like in 6 months when there are just empty office buildings all over the place. And like what happens to those?
It's interesting to just see like a big company like Square Enix saying this, like work from home, like permanently. Like,
hey, it's especially interesting with the Japanese company because they are even more like American tech companies had already kind of started to be cool with work from home. And so this is like a big step for a Japanese tech company to tell people to do that. And apparently, I mean, I guess it hasn't slowed down Square Enix's workflow now, so we'll see what happens.
Can you imagine what it's going to look like in like 15 years when
I know.
people are still watching The Office, and they're like, haha, look at how quaint they are in their building. Like how you know, like how like a million plot lines in Seinfeld would be invalidated by the exclusion of cell phones. It's just like that with The Office, where it's just like, well, this doesn't seem real. Why are they in this building? Why don't they just work from home and avoid each other?
It is very interesting. I also listen sometimes to a podcast called TrueAnon, which is a podcast that is ostensibly about Jeffrey Epstein and all of his nightmare stuff, but is also about just like tons of other shit too. And a thing they brought up that I do think is very interesting, it is maybe a little bit more bleak, sorry, is what work from home does to labor organizing, in that it kind of atomizes it, because you are no longer able to just talk to your coworkers about starting a union in the break room. You have to now email them, and if any of your like coworkers are a snitch, they can now print that email out and show it to their boss and get you fired instantly. Because labor organizing is a very tenuous thing in the United States, which is a bit more dire to think about, for sure. It definitely does damage to like the hopes of further organized tech. I mean, we're still seeing tech unions happen, thank goodness, but it is harder to collaborate with your coworkers as like a unit that has solidarity if you never see your coworkers. That's true. If you don't have like a name and a face to go with these people that you work with. So I don't know. To at least one degree, I like the idea of like tech buildings being shut down. But on the other hand, I like labor organizing more. Like much more. So
it's just that gif of Larry David, like
yeah, but right now I have a work from home job. I think a lot of people do. So I don't know. We'll see. Again, it's another one of those. Let's see what it looks like in 6 months. Ask me about this in 6 months. See what happens.
Yeah, let's circle back to this in July. And we'll either laugh about this episode in particular, or we'll be like, you know, in tears.
We'll see.
Next, this is a really old one, but hey, Neo, the world ends with you heading to PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. They're doing it!
Oh, hey, yay! They're finally doing it! They're doing a new one!
Looks really cool!
It looks really good. I think it is very funny. Like, those are fans that played, like, the long game. Like, the really long game. That is one of the old, like, you know, like, Half-Life 3 and, like, the Final Fantasy VII remake. That's, like, an old video game white whale that is now, like, finally been spared.
But I feel like the difference between those two is that, like, Half-Life, or at least Valve content, still did continue to come out. And, like,
sure,
Final Fantasy VII still got stuff.
Right?
The World Ends With You didn't. It just came out and then was done forever.
And then it was done, and everybody was like, this is really good, we really liked it, can we get some more? And they're like, well, we got you a Switch remake, like, 7 years later. And then that was it. Although I do feel very vindicated. When they announced that Switch remake, I was like, they're making a sequel.
You were right. They are.
I was right.
And an anime. We talked about the anime a while ago, but yeah, it's still getting that anime.
Yeah, and I said that too. Not to be like, I told you so, but I did tell you so. When they said the anime, I was like, they're making a sequel. They're making a sequel. 100%, they're making a sequel now. They would not spend that kind of money if they weren't. Because they really, really want everybody to get caught up to speed on the plot of the first game without necessarily having to play the first game. Because I heard the Switch port is a little janky.
Yeah.
To try and do the two-person control. I heard it's not great.
If I do end up picking it up, it'll be for the DS, and I'll just play it on that.
Yeah, that's probably the better way to
I
do
also
it.
like that the protagonist wears a mask, and Nomura had to be like, no, that's not a COVID thing. That's just a coincidence because I designed this character like 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, it's funny. It's like, no, I mean, like, they do just habitually wear masks in Japan. They don't live in as psychotic of a culture as ours. So they just kind of wear masks. Sometimes even just as like a fashion statement. They just wear like cool masks. But I do think it is very funny at the same time because now like everybody has got them. So Nomura's, again, he's ahead of his time. He's a fashion designer as much as he is trendsetter. Absolutely, he's a genius.
I think it looks great. I'm very excited to finally getting around. It's that article. Big The World Ends With You fan excited to play it for the very first time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 100% it. I did play it back. I didn't finish it, but I did play it back in the day when it came out because I worked at GameStop, speaking of, and we could just rent video games. And so I just rented The World Ends With You for like a weekend and played as much as I could. I liked it. It's pretty good.
Awesome. So, next, 2 of the worst Zelda games have been recreated on the PC.
Yay!
Someone actually went and did a rebuild of Wand of Gamelon and Faces of Evil.
Did you watch that speedrun?
I did not, and I meant to, but I need to.
I watched it. It's a delight. It is so much fun. Highly recommend the Wand of Gamelon speedrun. There isn't a lot of tech, obviously, but like it's just a joy to watch because like all the cutscenes and shit are so bad. And the game itself is garbage. But no, it's so much fun to actually have now seen all of the cutscenes from Wand of Gamelon, which is great.
Also, by the way, this is already out, so too late, Nintendo. Sorry. Haha. We got you. It's in the internet. You can't stop it now. It exists.
That's what they mean when they say shut the fuck up. When you're working on a project that you know is going to get cease and desisted by Nintendo, shut the fuck up. Just put it out.
Now. It's out there. He took down the his original YouTube videos and his direct links from there, but the torrents exist.
It's too late now. It's kind of like the Mother 3 translation. You'll never kill that.
It's there. I did watch the Wand of Gamelon and Faces of Evil reanimated, where they just do the thing where they got a bunch of artists to recreate the cutscenes and whatever their personal style is.
I haven't seen that.
I love those collaborations, just an outpouring of talent. People getting super creative and having tons of fun. The best, of course, is the Shrek remake.
Oh, yeah, no, the Shrek one and the A New Hope one. There was one for Star Wars A New Hope.
I haven't watched that one. That does sound really good.
It's very good, yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. Go track those torrents down and have some fun playing these bad games. Speaking of another release that we missed because we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but hey, Persona 5 Strikers leak trailer reveals Western release on PS4, PC, and Switch.
Oh boy, this one is really
coming.
old.
We actually did get it.
It's finally coming. It is finally coming. When is the release date?
Oh god, maybe this article might not even be old enough for it to have the release date on it.
Well, no, the leaked trailer had the release date at the end of it. I just don't remember what it is. I think it's like
February 23rd, 2021. So
yay! Very soon. Actually, hey, less than a month now. Exciting times. I can finally play that sequel to Persona 5 that came out a year ago.
With English voice acting, too.
With English voice acting and proper subs, like all that good shit. So, you know.
I was on the verge of, deleting the demo for my Switch, because I'm like, it's never coming out, and if I just keep staring at this demo, I'm just going to get sad.
I'm just gonna get sadder and sadder. See, before they announced this, though, they announced that a version was coming out in Hong Kong, and a version of Hong Kong would have English in it. So I really was like, if they don't announce an English version soon, I'm just gonna buy the version from Hong Kong. I'll just import it. I don't care. I've heard that the translation in those can be a little iffy, and I was like, I don't care anymore. I will take that gamble. I just want to play the P5 Muso.
I just need more Persona 5 content.
You don't. It's a sequel. It's an actual for realsies sequel. How am I not supposed to play that? Sarah, haven't you played Persona 5
No.
for Royal yet? No, I'm still waiting for it to go on sale even further.
Dave beat it. He liked it a lot.
I want to give it a shot. It's just I'm kind of off by the fact that most of the new content is in like the back half of the video game I've already played 3 times. I put a lot of time into the original P5, and so it's like, do you want to do that again? And I'm like, I do, but I also really don't. Can I just skip to the new shit?
Yeah, and you don't even get to import a lot of your DLC too, I think. I don't know.
I think a lot of the costumes carry over.
Because I asked Dave, and I'm like, hey, does the DLC carry over? And he's like, well, I got a bunch of cash for importing my save, but I didn't buy any of the DLC, so I don't know. And I'm like, no, I needed an answer.
I think they import the costumes. So, which is good, because I have a lot of those.
Yeah, they fucking better. I spend a lot of money on those. I don't want to buy them again.
Like a chump, I spent money on P5 costumes.
They have looked so good, and you got battle themes with them, so it's fine.
They all look really cool, and I really like the Yasogami uniforms, so of course I'm gonna buy that content. Shut up, leave me alone. It's fine. Okay, next.
This is, again, we're sorry we're so late, but hey, the 14 biggest trailers and announcements from the Game Awards 2020. We didn't talk about these.
Oh, let's do it quickly. We can't, otherwise we're gonna be here for 6 hours.
Let's see. Sephiroth is in Smash.
Perfect. Sephiroth is Smash. We already talked about that.
Left 4 Dead has a spiritual successor. I'm so fucking excited for Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood looks good. Perfect Dark doesn't exist. Sorry, I know you saw that trailer and got excited. I saw that trailer and got excited. I promise you, Perfect Dark does not even remotely exist. It might exist less than Mass Effect.
Dead Space has a spiritual successor.
That's a weird one. Didn't they talk about... That's like a really strange one, too. Hold on. What is that game called, then? Because
the Callisto Protocol.
Callisto... Because I was reading about this one, and it has a weird gameplay hook that is...
Oh, do tell. What is that? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to really think of it, what it said. Hold on. They said something strange about it. That it was like a... There was like a games as a service or something.
What? But it's a horror game. How do you do that?
It's a horror single-player game. I know. Maybe I'm thinking of something different.
You've got to be thinking of something different, because this is...
Maybe I'm thinking of something different.
This is made by the original devs of Dead Space, and the reason they lost Dead Space is because EA gutted them to make them into, like, a franchise DLC bank.
Oh, okay, I know what it is. It's that it's made by the people who made PUBG.
Oh, right! It's set in the PUBG universe.
Yeah, that's what was so weird about it. Is that it's...
Which doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
That's not...
It doesn't mean anything, because there's no, like, established canon. I think PUBG has less of an established canon than, like Fortnite, which is kind of telling stories with its different seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very odd. That's what it was that, like, it's technically involved with PUBG in some strange way. But, yeah, I don't know. Have you ever seen Glenn Schofield, by the way? The guy who made Dead Space, who, like, basically was, like, the creative head that was responsible for Dead Space?
No, I have not.
He just looks like someone's dad. Yeah, or, like... Nor not like someone's dad, like... Specifically someone's jock uncle.
Right, yeah. Like when we...
Like, hold on, here's a picture of him.
When we saw him in the, like, on the
Game
awards, we're
Awards.
just like, that's just a person. That's not, like, someone in charge of anything.
He doesn't look like a video game guy. He looks like he had a really He looks like he was, like, a very successful college football player and then, like, played one season in the NFL and, like, tore his bicep and was out forever, right? But now he makes video games for some reason. I don't know. He's a very nice man. He also has an extremely thick accent. I think he's from Boston or something.
Thick.
He has a super thick accent. I just think it's the funniest thing. It's kind of like, Darren Aronofsky, the guy who made like Mother and like Requiem for a Dream. He is also just like a dude guy with like a thick Bostonian accent. And he makes like these very artsy movies. Frankly, a little too artsy. Not like in a good way. Like, I love me an artsy movie, but like Darren Aronofsky. But he's just like he's just like a guy with like a really thick, New England accent. And I always think that's very funny to be like, this is an auteur, and he sounds like he's gonna, I don't know, sell you scratchers at the gas station.
It's that Your Cousin from Boston commercials.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're supposed to be French.
Maybe it's for the better that he's not French.
Yeah, because
then otherwise we'd have another David Cage.
Yeah, we are getting another, not David Cage himself, but
oh God.
Yeah, Open Roads.
Yeah, healing the divides of America by going on a road trip. Kill me. Bleh. Sounds vile. No thank you.
What else got announced? Vin Diesel in Arc 2.
The weirdest looking trailer I've ever seen in my life.
The photorealistic Vin Diesel with like amateur SFM.
Yeah, and like the frame rate of that trailer was so weird, right?
It was like everything felt like mushy.
We were watching it. We were streaming the Game Awards, and we were all watching it together and just being like, why does this look so weird? Why does this seem so strange? We could not place it. And it was like the slightly over animated quality of the animations, plus like the very strange frame rate, and then just like Vin Diesel's extremely photorealistic head all combined. It looked like a fake. It looked like the trailer version of what goes on a graphics card box. That was the only vibe I got from it.
It looked like a scene from a movie where Vin Diesel goes inside a video game.
Oh my God, that's exactly it. Holy shit. Oh my God, you absolutely nailed it. It was very weird. And then we found out that Vin Diesel is like a huge Ark fan. Like he has like 1,200 hours in Ark, which like mad respect coming from a psycho with 1,200 hours in Fallout 4.
Vin Diesel is the polar opposite of Adam Sandler in terms of you became an actor just so that you could do this thing. Like where Adam Sandler is an actor so that he and his friends can go to like Hawaii and film a crappy movie and who cares. But like Vin Diesel became an actor to make his D&D character real.
Yeah, no, he literally wrote the foreword for 5th edition? 4.5? He wrote the foreword for not 4.5, for 4th edition. He's a huge D&D guy, and he has 1,200 hours in Ark, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna use my money to fund Ark 2. And it's just
imagine.
I mean, you do you, man.
Imagine being the devs of Ark, and they're like, and Vin Diesel is like, listen, I'll pay you to make more Ark, but I have to be in it. And
I love it. I mean, I would do the same thing.
But it's like, okay, so what's the downside for us? We get
there is
we
no
get
downside.
Funded, and we get the star power of Vin Diesel in our video game.
You get to hang out with Vin Diesel, maybe do like a campaign with him in your downtime. Listen, if I had $2 billion, yes, I would show up at Todd Howard's house at 3 a.m. with a gun, being like, put me in Fallout 5.
I get to be in.
Make Fallout 5.
Here's the money, I get to be in it.
I want to be the villain of Fallout 5. Please and thank you. Yeah, no. Mad respect.
And then finally, blowing out all our asses, new Mass Effect. They're just making new Mass Effect.
Oh god. And I think at the end of the Game Award, it was probably the most manic I've been in a while, because like they started it with Sephiroth and they ended it with Mass Effect, a game franchise whom my love for is extremely complicated. But like the short version is that like, oh my god, I love Mass Effect. The long version is I kind of love Mass Effect, except for like when you think about it too hard, all of the writing is actually quite bad. But don't worry about it. And yeah, no. This is a game that does not exist. Like, even less than Perfect Dark. But unlike Perfect Dark, I'm a dumbass. And so I'm excited for it.
I can't.
I'm very excited for it. The question is, are they really walking back Andromeda? Are they just and like, are they walking back the ending in Mass Effect 3 where Shepard dies? I love it. Has any company ever gone, sorry, oh god, we are so sorry, harder?
This is, okay, if they do that, if they walk that back, this is the American version of the remake, of 7 Remake.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if,
Can you fucking imagine, like...
Oh no, please no. What are you about to say to me?
Mass Effect 4 opens, and your Shepard crawls out of the pit, and it's just like, was that all of them? And a flyer for a Blasto movie flies in front of the camera, but he looks different.
Shut up! I hate you. Oh my god, stop the ride, I want off. I love it. No, but what if though? Like, this is the part where you start to go crazy, because the remastered versions of 1 through 3 are coming out later this year, right? So, like, are they gonna change things?
It's the shot in the trailer is, it's fucking Liara and, like, what's clearly a Turian and someone else, like, in the distance. And they find the N7 faceplate. But it's like, you already did a whole plot line in 2 where Shepard dies and they take 2 years to bring him back to life.
To put him back together.
Are you just gonna throw his bits back in the vat again?
Maybe they are. Shit, I don't know. Maybe they are. They're just gonna roll up on that like Cerberus facility that's got like mold growing in it now, and just like dust it off and be like, put Shepard's like charred corpse onto a scanner and be like, okay, we got to do this again. It's fine.
Oh my god, I would freak my shit if that's what happened.
I honestly, please do. Like, I don't care anymore. I have transcended the ability to give a shit. Like, yes, please, I am begging you to just do it again. Just walk it back. Walk it back harder than anybody has ever walked anything back before.
They're like, yeah, we threw you back in the vat to bring you back to life, and while we were at it, we threw Morden and Thane in there too, so now they're on your team again. Fuck it, whatever.
So they're fine as well. Who cares? Who cares? I love it. No, please. Please, just... And then just do another trilogy with... Like, if this is not gonna work, like in my heart of hearts, I'm like, this is never gonna happen. This game's never coming out. It's not coming out for like another 4 years. Fuck you. But like also in my soul, I want this to work out, because if it does work out, it's a huge hit, and BioWare is back on top. Not happening, but again, we're dreaming right now. Then like, you would have the most insanely ambitious project ever of 6 games with the same player-created avatar.
The only way it works is if you either have to retcon the ending of 3.
That's fine. Nobody likes the ending of 3.
Or you have to do the brave thing and completely roll back your decision.
Oh my god. What?
It takes courage.
Please be... okay, the question is... The answer to this question is in the remaster, which is coming out in a few months. If they just take the choice away and like destroy is the only ending choice, then like they're gonna do it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they're gonna do something extremely cool. They're not gonna do that though. I wish they would, but I don't think they're that cool.
The smart thing is to do a Deus Ex and just retcon the ending bit and just say none of those actually happened. Here's the real canon ending. But the brave and courageous thing is to say your shepherd died and we threw him in the vat again and brought him back to life.
Well, the thing is that, though, they really have no choice but to do option 1. Because, like, despite everything, even though, like, you know, the meme is, you know, 3 different colors, they're all the same. And, like, yes, you are correct, but, like, the ending states of those 3 different colors are vastly different. Like, you either have Shepard becomes a Reaper, and the Reapers are just still out there, like, hanging out in the universe, but now, like, Shepard is in charge of them as like a space cephalopod, or you blow up all synthetic life in the galaxy, which could include, depending on, like, your tech level, I think, like, all your cool Geth friends, and, like, maybe even the Quarians, because the Quarians are so heavily, like, modified at this point that they might also be, like, synthetic life forms, you know? Which is a huge status quo change. Or you do, like, the green ending, which is easily the stupidest ending of all of them, and nobody should pick the green ending. The only canon ending is red, sorry. Finish your mission. Like, obviously pick the red ending. Anyways, the green ending is, like, the synthesis ending, where, like, everybody is a robot, and then Shepard just kind of disappears for some reason. I don't know. I still don't know what's going on in that ending. Like, those are all, like, massive status quo changes. So, they have to just say either, like, that none of that happened, it was all dream, or they have to say, like, the only canon ending is destroy. And then we just go from there and be like, well, what about the Geth and the Quarians? They're fine.
They made it. They ducked.
But I thought they made it. It's fine. They ducked. They got under their desks. It's fine.
They weren't looking when it happened, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Don't worry about it. All the Reapers are gone. Now you have to deal with these new Super Reapers. You have
to deal with deluxe Reapers.
They're like regular Reapers, except they're gold, like an EA skin.
And they have spikes.
They got spikes and extra cephalopod tentacles. I don't know. No matter what they do, it's gonna be stupid. But I'm still excited because I have a baby brain. I still
clapped like an idiot when I saw we're making a new Mass Effect game.
It's not gonna... And, like, you know, it's like they're making a new Mass Effect game, and then in your soul, you're like, they're making another Andromeda. No! Fuck you! Andromeda is dead forever. Nobody is ever gonna think about Andromeda ever again. Yay!
Either it's gonna be a well-written masterpiece, it's gonna be a terribly written masterpiece, but still play really well, so whatever, it's fine. Or it's gonna be another Andromeda, and we get to point and laugh at it.
Yeah, otherwise we just have another train wreck. No matter what happens, I love all of these options, frankly, so I come out on top. But the problem is that this is not going to happen. If it happens at all, which feels slim, which is probably the worst outcome to all of this, is that it just quietly gets canceled, you know? Which, God, I hope not. But if it does come out, it won't come out for like 4 more years.
I think it'll still come out before Dragon Age 4 comes out, though.
Oh, no, Dragon Age 4 does not exist. Like, the Dragon... Like, okay, have any of the Dragon Age 4 trailers we've seen shown a character model?
Nope.
Then yeah, no. The Mass Effect 4 exists more than Dragon Age 4. Because, like, we saw Liara. She's right there, front and center. Like, that's her. She's got a, I mean, I know it's like a fancy money shot trailer, but like they still took the time to model her and give her a new outfit. So that means she for sure exists more than anything else in Dragon Age 4. So, yeah, Dragon Age 4 is never coming out. That one is definitely going to get quietly canceled.
So, that's it for that. Everything else is just kind of, I don't really care about anything else in the Game Awards. I did play a Sephiroth. He plays really good. I enjoyed it. That was fun.
Cool.
So that's probably the best Smash trailer though ever. It's the Sephiroth one.
Oh, absolutely, 100% was certified to drive you completely fucking insane, as it should be.
So next, producer Yusuke Tomizawa apologizes for lack of Tales of Arise news. News to come in 2021, as the game is currently in final stages of development.
That game doesn't exist either. I'm sorry.
2021.
I don't believe you. No, fuck you. I refuse to get my hopes up. No. Tales of Arise doesn't exist, and we live in hell. It's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna play another Tales game again. They're doing this. They're gonna cancel it, and then they're gonna be like, go play Crestoria. And I'm gonna be... I'll be so sad. They're gonna be like, the actual Tales game is Crestoria. There is no power in the universe strong enough to make me play Tales of Crestoria. Are you fucking crazy?
I still hate that that trailer came out for it and it looked really cool, and it was like mobile game.
It's a mobile game, and it's like, okay, well, it's a mobile game. That's fine. You know, like Tales games. Tales games have had mobile versions in the past. You know, handheld versions. The new handheld is your phone. That's cool. This is fine. And then they showed other characters from other Tales games. It's a gacha game. Oh. Sorry, my heart only belongs to one gacha game with a story, and it's the one written by Kinoko Nasu. There is nothing in the plot of Tales of Crestoria that is nearly bonkers enough to make me play it. I'm sorry, you've got to go, like, mega extra super crazy to make me care about your gacha JRPG. And there's only one game on the market that can go mega extra super crazy. Sorry. So anyways, I don't...
We shall see.
Tales of Arise does... I don't believe it!
You said the same thing about Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3. And...
That's true. And look at that. If they never came out, I would still be a happy person. But they did come out, so I'm a happier person. So I'm going to keep doing this for Tales of Arise as well, so that when it is eventually canceled, Benjamin... I can be like, I told you so. And if it does come out, I'll be like, I never said that.
Okay, politician.
Never said that. Shut up. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. I'm. Please vote for me. I'm running for president of the presidential nominee of the Democratic Party in 2032. I think that's the math. I don't know.
Next, someone found a weird unreleased Simpsons game on an old Dreamcast dev kit.
Oh, I didn't see this.
The Simpsons Bug Squad.
What?
And it appears... Okay, so you know how Hit and Run was Grand Theft Auto, and they had the other one that was Crazy Taxi, right?
Yeah.
This one appears to be the Simpsons version of Mr. Mosquito, where you just play as like as a bug, some kind of fly or something, and you fly around the Simpsons house, and the characters are just kind of going about their day.
What?
Let me see if I can find a good quote here. What's odd is that, quote from the article, what's odd is that Bug Squad seems to star a random, not very Simpsons-looking bug. It resembles Mr. Mosquito, with players exploring the Simpsons house as a bug, who is presumably part of a squad based on the game's name. The game was being developed by Red Lemon, and this specific demo seems to have been created back in October 2000, over 20 years ago. Red Lemon is also the developer behind another unreleased Dreamcast game, Take the Bullet. So this was just found on some guy had a dev kit for Dreamcast. Let's see, Sreak, S-R-E-A-K, Sreak. A user over on the Dreamcast Talk forums posted the files from an old broken Dreamcast dev kit hard drive. And yeah, they found a weird unreleased game on it.
What a weird... I mean, I guess that's why it didn't come out, because anybody who was playing it was like, what is the purpose of this?
Yeah, I'm watching the gameplay demo now, and yeah, it just looks like Mr. Mosquito. You play as like this kind of beetle-looking guy. And yeah, it's just flying around, walking along the countertops, and Homer is there just kind of walking around.
What a weird thing to pitch and like get that far enough in development to actually make. Very strange.
I always thought that like the Crazy Taxi and Grand Theft Auto were like weird picks for a Simpsons game to be in the first place.
Oh, I don't know. I think those kind of track because they are kind of about like causing trouble in Springfield, you know, like that kind of vibes, and it lets you interact with like all the other characters in Springfield while you play as the Simpsons. Like that all kind of fits. This is just like you're not even playing as the Simpsons, and you're just in like their house, and it's a very strange concept because like it's a cartoon, so everything is just so. I mean, I guess it worked for Mr. Mosquito. But, like, everything would be, like, very flat and blank and textureless. Because you've got to, you know, replicate the feeling of a Simpsons cartoon. Odd choice. Very strange.
Weird pick of, like, we're going to make the Simpsons version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Square Enix trademarks Ever Crisis, the First Soldier, and Shinra logo, sparking speculation about Final Fantasy VII Remake follow-up. What do you think? What do you think these are going to be?
I don't... Ever Crisis is the hard one. Because I don't think it's just like a Crisis Core remake. I highly doubt that. Otherwise, they would just call it Crisis Core. The First Soldier is either Sephiroth DLC or it's Zack DLC. You know? Or it's a really bad anime.
I think the First Soldier, based on the name alone, is going to be either an OVA about Sephiroth or a mobile game of some kind.
Oh, mobile game's a good choice, actually. Yeah. Ever Crisis could be a good mobile game name, though.
It could, but I feel like out of the two, I feel like Ever Crisis is going to be the bigger project overall.
Yeah.
I feel like
I just don't think that either of them are going to be very big projects.
I don't think it's going to be like a full game or anything like that, but I think Ever Crisis has a better shot of being like a 20-hour game than...
Maybe.
Like, I think Ever Crisis has a better shot of being a rebuild of Crisis Core that expands on the new continuity, because you got to get rid of Gact.
Oh, thank God. We're finally free of Gact, baby.
And I think the First Soldier it's about Sephiroth. I think the First Soldier is about Sephiroth. Like, I think that's the easiest call.
Yeah, I don't know, though. Yeah, I guess it would have to be. That name, because, like, in my head, like, maybe it's Zack, you know? Like, the First Soldier is the guy that came before Cloud, who is, like, the soldier of Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, his whole identity is built around being soldier, whereas Sephiroth's whole identity is built around being Sephiroth, which is, like, a very weird distinction, but, like, you know what I mean?
But if it's about his youth and his time as soldier...
It would be extremely sick to get some sort of, like, young Sephiroth DLC. Like, that would be very cool. Do I think that's gonna happen? No, it's too cool. So, it's gonna be like an OVA. I think gambling on it being an OVA, you've got pretty good odds, you know? Because they've done bad Final Fantasy VII OVAs before. They did the YouTube anime for fucking 15. Tired just thinking about it.
The other option, I think, for Ever Crisis is just a compilation collection. It's
like
Crisis
all of
Core,
them?
Dirge Cerberus, and like, I don't know, a film version of Before Crisis, And like,
God, I would love a version of Before Crisis that isn't just compressed to shit YouTube videos.
Like you just port it to PS5. You port Crisis Core, Dirge Cerberus, and Classic 7, and you just. They're
never gonna port Crisis Core though because of the GACT problem.
God, you're right. They can't. They actually cannot.
They physically cannot. They would have to remake Crisis Core.
Unless they just redesign his face and hire a new voice actor.
They could do that. They could totally do that. Frankly, I hope they do that. But yeah, like that's the big stopping problem is. But that would mean redoing. And I mean, I guess they could, but that's a lot of work. And I don't even know if they still have the working files, considering how video game companies are. There are like CG, like FMVs in Crisis Core. You played it. There are FMVs with Genesis in them.
God.
So those would have to be redone as well. Right.
Fuck. They can't. They can never do it.
The big fight on the Junon Cannon is an FMV, so they would have to redo that, and like that's a lot of work. Like, I don't know what Ever Crisis could be. I would love for it to be some kind of new version of Crisis Core, because like, except for the Genesis stuff, Crisis Core is pretty good. But they can't because of the GACT problem.
I love that we can call it that, by the way.
I know. It's the GACT problem. How do you solve the GACT problem? It's the biggest problem facing Square Enix right now, because I'm sure they would love to capitalize on their lovingly created prequel to Final Fantasy VII.
I don't know. I would like Ever Crisis to be a game, like a full-fledged game, but to do that would take away a lot of time from Remake 2. And
yeah, I don't know what it could be.
Unless Ever Crisis is Remake 2, and that's just the new subtitle for it.
You think?
Maybe.
That's not a bad idea. I was really hoping, like in my head, I was really hoping it would be, but that would be really weird because like the Crisis thing denotes that it's a spin-off. Like the whole point of the Crisis, like the AC, BC, CC, DC naming convention marks it as a spin-off from Final Fantasy VII. Like, if they were going to call it Ever Crisis, they would have called the first remake Ever Crisis. Ostensibly. I mean, I don't know. Who can possibly know the inner workings of Tetsuya Nomura's mind?
Yeah, who can ever predict? I would place money that one of these is a mobile game or OVA.
I think mobile game is an extremely good bet. I would say, I think I will say that Ever Crisis is a mobile game and The First Soldier is an OVA.
I think that's a pretty safe bet.
I think so. Who knows what this fucking, whatever Crisis could be. I would love for it to be a remake of Before Crisis so that I could actually play Before Crisis, because I'm, a huge Turks stan, and I would like to play that video game in a meaningful way, other than, like I said, compressed to shit YouTube videos of a fan translation.
But it's gonna be about Zack and Sephiroth. That's my prediction too.
That's all I can guess. Guess. It's gotta be about one of them. Like, I don't know why, I just feel that in my bones. Now let's just both be extremely wrong.
The First Soldier feels like Dark Road to me. Like, I get that same kind of vibe from it,
But Dark Road sucks. I want The First Soldier to be good.
Maybe it will be good. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, like, we know that Nomura can direct good movies. He did Advent Children.
He did do Advent Children. I hope it's... Maybe... I mean, I guess if it's an OVA, I'm always a slut for more Final Fantasy VII anime, like, even if it's bad, I'll still watch it. So, like, I wouldn't mind a new OVA, you know? Kind of keep some anime up in this, this meticulously CGI video game remake. Still keep some anime up in here.
Mm-hmm.
Remember your roots kind of thing. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see, I guess. I mean, like, fucking, this could just be, they trademarked a bunch of stuff that they might use later. And
that they may never use. Yeah, exactly. That also happens, but it's fun to speculate.
I want to believe in a world where Ever Crisis is a thing.
Where it's something good. And, you know, in my heart of hearts, I want the First Soldier to just be DLC for, like, the PS5 version. Like, that would be cool. Like, the PS5 version that is absolutely coming of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, I would love for that to be DLC to tide us over until fucking, you know, Remake 2. That's almost too cool. So, in my brain, I'm like, never hope for the coolest thing, because it's not happening. We'll see.
Next, something that is definitely happening. Resident Evil Village has a Resident Evil 4 style inventory and merchant.
Big lady.
Lady Dimitrescu.
Dimitrescu? Screw? Something like that. Big lady gonna hold me in her big arms and then, you know, stab me in the neck with her spiky fingernails, and it's okay.
A very tall lady who has kidnapped a baby. Apparently.
It looked like Chris kidnapped the baby. You watched that story trailer?
But Chris was
holding Ethan's baby.
It's very clearly not Chris. I mean, obviously.
Or it's Chris and he's like doing some shady shit, you know, like, but he's gonna obviously he's gonna end up being a good guy in the end. Duh. But like, that was Chris holding Ethan's baby.
He's under mind control, or Ethan is hallucinating, or it's not really Chris.
Or he needs or he's playing the long game so he can get a cure for his werewolfism that he for sure has, because I saw the cover of that game. Chris Redfield, by the way, this is maybe a little too not safe for work, so like, you know, cover your ears for 2 seconds if you're a baby. Chris Redfield as a furry is gonna set the internet on fire in the exact same way that Big Lady set the internet on fire, and you know I'm right.
It's gonna awaken some things in some people.
It's gonna do a lot for a lot of people, and my timeline is gonna be absolutely insufferable once that game comes out. I hope you're all ready for that. Like, it's gonna be everywhere, because like, again, if you are a baby, please cover your ears at this point. But like, Bara Chris Redfield fan art is like a big subgenre of Resident Evil fan art. There's a lot of it. And if you also make it like half furry, oh my god, you thought Big Lady was a big deal?
People are going to be playing this, and they're going to get to the boss fight with Chris, and they're going to go,
I hope this doesn't awaken something in me. And then it does.
Absolutely will. There's going to be a lot of people.
This whole game is so far just, I hope this doesn't awaken anything in me.
I think this looks great. I love
fantastic.
The introduction of vampires and werewolves to the Resident Evil lore is
sure,
tons
why
of
not?
fun.
Fuck you. You know what I'm really looking forward to? How they're gonna science explain it.
That's the thing. Okay, so, because, like, RE7 was, like, Ghost.
Because they did it in RE7,
RE7 was like, here's Ghost, but then it's like, it's a mutation, it's causing hallucinations of the T-virus, right? Whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How are they, and especially considering this thing is set in, like, the Maiden demo that came out is set in, like, the 1500s? Or something like that? Or, like, you find...
I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I need to play it tonight, but it might be too spooky, so I might wait till tomorrow when it's
I downloaded it, but then I was like... And then I scrolled one over, and I'm like, but 13 Sentinels, though.
But 13 Sentinels, though, I know. It's a huge problem. 13 Sentinels is extremely good video game.
Like, I think it's set... The Maiden demo is set in, like, the 50s, but you can find notes that date back to the 1500s.
Okay, I did see a thing on Twitter that is for sure going to make me into an actual crazy human being. that like there's like a family seal inside the big castle that looks like the umbrella mark. And it's like, oh, cool. I can't wait to go bonkers. I'm really looking forward to this.
I love it. I am so
I love it. Absolutely. Super stoked. I'm very glad that we've come full circle to how Devil May Cry got its start.
Yeah, this is just the fucking Malay Island.
It's Malay. It's super, like, one of my friends on Twitter even pointed it out that, like, the foyer of the castle looks a lot like the foyer, like the concept art of the foyer in on Malay, and it's like, oh, cool. We have truly come full circle where the like first attempt at Resident Evil 4 becomes Devil May Cry, and now even Resident Evil is like, what if we just did Gothic horror too? Fine.
Did you see someone point out that the early RE4 builds had a more Gothic aesthetic, and including enemies that were spiky and similar to vampires?
No.
They're just like, yep, let's just recycle all these concepts.
What if we just took all of this and just they're like literally just laying around in the Capcom offices like, what the fuck do we do for a sequel to Resident 7?
You know that guy with like the beard and like the hat? What if it's
Dante.
Tony Redgrave? What if he introduces himself as Tony Redgrave?
Do you want to know how No, we will reach new levels of me just like shrieking into the night, like running out into the road, tearing my clothes asunder.
Okay, so in Devil May Cry 1 through 5, just the games, has Dante or anyone ever referred to him as Tony Redgrave?
Not spoken, but he did canonically have that phase where he was like, there's like written shit in Devil May Cry 5 that you can unlock as you play that establishes that he did canonically call himself Tony Redgrave for a while. So they might not do it. If a character
never said the name Tony Redgrave out loud in Devil May Cry 1 through 5, I think there's still a chance that this dude will be Anthony Redgrave.
Oh, please. Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, Capcom. Because it would be the dumbest option. And I love the dumbest option. Please, 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 please. I was thinking to myself, though, because this game is so incredibly obviously like a callback to what they did with RE4 in terms of, like, what if we just went crazy, you know? And I was laughing about that just at, like... just at like the merchant and you know, I was like disappointed at first that it's not the merchant, but I think the Duke looks amazing. No, he looks great. Like it's so funny to just be like, I love this Bloodborne 2 shit. This is just Bloodborne. It's just Bloodborne. Like, that's it. They really just were like, what if we just took all this concept art from Devil May Cry 1 that we didn't use and just make it more Bloodborne and set a Resident Evil game in it. And then we also brought back the attaché case. Of course you did, because why wouldn't you? Because the attaché case is the greatest inventory system ever conceived by mortal hands. Exactly. Also, apparently, according to this article, I didn't notice this in the trailer, but the Duke has cloves of garlic hanging around his cart. Oh my god. Perfect. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I'm asking for. Thank you, Capcom. I will take 20. There's an attaché case. There's a big lady. There's some other ladies. Chris Redfield is going to turn into a werewolf. It looks like Bloodborne 2. Fucking Tony Redgrave is going to show up, maybe. So this the other thing I was thinking though is this literal looks like a hunter from Bloodborne looking motherfucker. I was looking at him and thinking like, man, we've really downgraded from how hot Luis was in RE4. We kind of have a little bit. I mean,
Maybe Ethan is actually hot. We'll never know because they refuse to not show refuse to not cover his face.
Even though we all know what he looks like. Ethan has a face model in 7.
We have seen it, but I just love that all of his concept art still has him in shadow for some reason.
They've got to show his face at the end of this game, right?
I mean, I would hope so.
I would really hope so. He's got a baby now. They got to show his face.
You've got Mia looking all cozy in her mom sweater.
Mia looks very nice. I hope her character model is slightly less disconcerting in this game.
I would think it would be, considering it's on a brand new system, and also she hasn't been living in a basement for 2 years.
Thank God. Yeah. So, I am incredibly excited. It's launching pretty soon, right?
Did they put the release
May?
date on there? I think May.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean that's not
May.
Not bad. They also did announce a bunch of other stuff with that thing. Obviously, the maiden demo was on that day.
Who could possibly care about Reverse?
Yeah, they announced Resident Evil Battle Royale.
I'm already sleeping.
They put RPD stuff in the Division 2. Which,
weird.
Very weird. Like, if you're gonna do that, give us, a zombie mode.
Yeah, no, very strange. No, thank you.
Reverse, to me, is I almost fell asleep for that one.
Oh, God, absolutely. Until they showed that you could play as Jack Baker, and then I was like, alright, I'm paying attention.
But, I would why the fuck is this not Left 4 Dead? Why can't...
Yeah, why is it not just a horde
why can't I
mode?
just do, mercenary mode? Why can't we just finally do the dream team? Leon, Claire, Chris, and Jill.
You know why it's not mercenaries, right?
Because probably going to slap mercenaries in Village.
No, they're going to put mercenary... No, Reverse is in Village.
They're going to put mercenaries in RE4 then. Yeah,
exactly. That's why. They're holding on to mercenaries because everybody wants mercenaries. They're holding on to mercenaries for Resident Evil 4 because they want Resident Evil 4 to be a fucking hit. That's why.
I didn't put the article on this docket, but yeah, that did come out also that they're switching devs for RE4. Which is RE4 Remake is the worst kept secret in Capcom history. Of course they're doing 4 again.
Of course they're doing 4 again. Of course it's a huge clusterfuck because, the idea of remaking RE4 is inherently cursed and you should not do it. This will be a very fraught development from start to finish, I promise.
It's also, to me, it is a disaster, but it's also, the least offensive remake you can ever make because, oh no, they're gonna ruin the sanctity of RE4. Yeah, just buy it on your PS4 again. Buy the original one on your PS5. It's already out.
I know, but it's also just
you're not.
What to me, it's a huge waste of resources because it's just either you remake it shot for shot from Resident Evil 4 and change nothing, and then it's just well, why did you not just put this with a HD texture pack? Why didn't you pay that one guy who's making an HD texture pack and then just put it on PS5? You know what I mean? Or they change a lot, and nobody wants you to change anything about Resident Evil 4. It's, perfect. I don't know. I feel there are better resources. Remaking Devil May Cry 1.
Or remaking 0, if you want to. Or Code Veronica. Yeah. Code Veronica deserves a remake.
Or Code Veronica. Code Veronica deserves a remake.
Make it good.
0 definitely. Yeah, make it good. 0 deserves a remake, even though 0 is pretty beautiful on its own.
But it plays like garbage. It should be fixed.
Yeah. Or remake Devil May Cry 1. I'm just fucking saying.
I think what they're afraid of, and I kind of understand this, is that if they do an RE3, RE2 style of 0 or Code Veronica, then they're gonna have to do all of them. What, you remade 0, but you're not gonna actually give this treatment to 1? And then you're...
Oh, but you don't need, maybe even less than RE4, you don't need to remake RE1. Because, the remake that does exist is basically immaculate. The one that came out on the GameCube and then got, high-res versions?
The thing is, they would have to make it so that it fits in the new established continuity of 2 and 3.
I know.
So if they remake Code Veronica or Zero, then it would have to fit into the new continuity. And then it's like, well, you gotta. Well, now RE1... 1 doesn't fit, so now you gotta fit 1 in there too. But if you just do 4, then it doesn't quite matter as much because 4 is by itself pretty much standalone.
But like RE1 is also pretty like, it's just set in the mansion. Like, there's nothing in RE2 and 3 that, I mean, like, even RE3 starring Jill is like, she still went to the mansion. Like, that's still canon. Like, there's nothing in RE1 that contradicts RE, like, the remake.
But you would just have to complete the set at that point, I feel like.
Just put the...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I hate it. It's like annoying.
It would be like if they were like, we're gonna remake the Jak and Daxter trilogy, but we're not gonna remake 3. You get here's your port, here's your like full on rebuild from the ground up of 1, 2, and Jak X, but not 3.
That's funny. Yeah. I don't like that you're right. But it's annoying me.
But since 4 is kind of like in that next generation of like 4, 5, and 6, like it doesn't count as like those early versions, so you can get away with just remaking 4.
Yeah. Next news article. I'm getting annoyed listening to you rationalize it because you're right. And you're right, and it's pissing me off.
If the remake of 4 is bad, it doesn't matter because they're just going to put the original version of 4 on the PS5 in like a year. It doesn't matter.
Thank God.
You're not starved for RE4. It's on literally everything.
You'll never have a problem finding versions of RE4 to play.
Next, 35 CSGO players slapped with bans for betting offenses. Oh, I love when these happen. Don't fucking bet on yourselves, idiots. Don't do that. It's actually pretty easy to like track and find out when you do that. Like, sorry, don't do that. Gamble on other things. Go gamble on the stock market, like we just found out. What do you fucking think you are? Like a boxer in like the 40s?
I don't know. They are using, apparently some people are using CSGO as fucking money laundering, so who knows? It really is like the mafia all over again, and we're gonna need you to take a dive in this round, kid.
God, I'm just... Some fucking like 60-year-old guy with like no hair and a cigar, and he's like, you gotta take a dive. We got a lot of money right now.
If you ever want to see your kids again.
Like some fucking 17-year-old European like CSGO player.
Some fucking Twitch streamer who streams exclusively in like Romanian.
The old guy's shirt is like half unbuttoned. He's got like a big gold chain.
Chomping a cigar. Got a bowler hat on.
In the sudden death, you gotta take the fall.
Oh, God.
Oh, I love it. Just don't bet on yourselves. Bet on other things.
Fine. There are better ways to make ill-gotten gains, like the stock market.
Fucking.
You poor idiots.
We can see when you're doing it.
Well, everybody can tell. Like, it's really obvious too when people like take a dive in video games. Like,
and not even that, but it's just like, fucking, we're gonna see when you make a bunch of money after losing.
It's like, I wonder what happened here. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Fucking go bet on Fortnite, not on the game that you are playing. You are not a criminal mastermind, and the internet exists.
You are a 17-year-old playing CSGO.
We have people who are like tracking your funds because like they're your manager. Like we can see these things.
Oh my god.
One more.
Anything else?
One more. It's happening, Sarah. The cycle begins
Oh,
anew.
no.
The king is dead. Long
no.
live the king.
I'm
Cyberpunk
afraid.
2077's latest patch added a game-breaking bug.
Yay! I'm so glad 76 is no longer in this hallowed position.
It's that fucking scene at the end of Gurren Lagann where Kamina's spirit passes the torch to Simone, but it's 76 in Cyberpunk.
Oh, I'm so proud. I'm so proud. 76 hasn't had like a catastrophic news article lately. Like they're just kind of puttering along, minding their own business, building shacks in West Virginia. Meanwhile, the entirety of Night City is just in flames.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. It's not Gurren Lagann. It's this fucking scene in My Hero Academia where after All Might is burned through One for All, and he's pointing at Midoriya like, "You're next.
Your turn." Oh man, that's exactly it. It's just so.
So let's find out some details about
And
what this bug actually is.
Yes, please give me some.
Here's a
deets.
quote from the Kotaku article. Patch 1.1 addresses an issue in the mission down the street where Takemura would not call, thereby preventing any progress in the mission. He'll call now, apparently, but then won't say a word. Some users say that reloading old saves or creating new save files doesn't fix it either. So, apparently from what I've read about this is a mission that happens basically when you first get access to, like, the actual overworld, like the big, hub world. Like
Right.
full access of the open world part. So if you just kind of go directly to the story missions, this bug happens that locks you from playing the rest of the game. Basically.
Wow.
Because if the mission doesn't start, then you can't progress at all.
You can't trigger. Yeah, you can't trigger any other missions either.
Yeah, because it kind of starts, but like you don't get the first cue that like
Right.
Where does your next objective marker?
Right. Yeah.
There's
Oh no, that's really bad.
There's at least one apparent workaround. First, try to call Judy before Takemura calls. When he does, hang up the line, then tackle a side job. Wait 24 hours in-game, and Takemura should call in with dialogue and everything, allowing you to progress through down the street.
This feels like a fix from a game from like 1994.
Right? Yeah.
Like to go through all of these steps. It's like flipping your PlayStation upside down because the disc won't read anymore. Like, no, that's a lot of steps to make sure that your game or more accurately, it's like, so like I know neither of us have finished the Royal, but you know how like you have to do a lot of shit to unlock the extra content in the Royal? Like you have to do like 3 different social links and answer questions correctly and blah, 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 blah. It's exactly like that, except it breaks your video game instead of making you reload another save.
It's already beginning, and I hope it just keeps up like this. I hope we get another 76 where every new patch breaks something else.
CDPR, fix the game-breaking bug where you can't romance Takemura.
Wait, really? That's also in the game?
No, that's not a bug.
You
But I mean, you literally, it's like it's just Valentine all over again, where you can't romance Takemura, and it's like, oh, thanks.
Awesome.
It's like, great, thanks. This keeps happening to me. It's just like Garrus. I would like to get off this ride now, thank you. So please fix that, and then I'll play your bad video game, because I have already showed I have no scruples about playing a broken video game that got a lot of press for being a broken video game. I will buy it used, however.
I'm just amazing, incredible. Keep
it up. No,
Break
absolutely.
more.
No, yeah, keep up the good work, because I like having the Cyberpunk Power Hour of every roundup episode. I think it's a lot of fun to figure out like what's broken this month. You know what I mean?
I hope it continues, because they have to be in super damage control right now.
Oh yeah, everything is just on fire over there all of the time. Schreier put out like a small article that was pretty good, pretty like oof, you know what I mean?
God. Every
just
time,
like the
every time Schreier's just like, hey, guess what?
Schreier is amazing too, because like what was the other day that came out and it was just like instantly what was that news article, Ben? We were talking about it in the Discord.
What was it?
And Schreier like immediately had hold on, I think I can find it this way.
He just has this amazing ability to like dig up the absolute worst of the worst bullshit happening in game dev.
Oh yeah, it was like immediately after the Vicarious Visions news broke, he was able to just come in with like further details.
Oh god, that's right.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about. We'll talk about Vicarious Visions real fast right now because it's total horseshit. I don't want to be too black-pilled at the end of the episode because we were having a good time with how broken Cyberpunk is. But Vicarious Visions, the guys responsible for the extremely good Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake, were informed that they are being absorbed. They were already published by Activision Blizzard, or they were published by, Activision, which owns Blizzard. And after that, after they did such a good job with that, they were informed that they're going to be folded basically completely into Blizzard and essentially put to work in the Overwatch mines. The Overwatch / WoW mines. And, like, they've made a lot of stuff other than Tony Hawk. Like, they have a huge list. I think they're the Total War guys. Let me see real fast. Vicarious Visions. I think they're the Total War guys. Let me look.
More like Total Air guys.
No, they are not the Total War guys, but they are like... What else did they made some other big title that like everybody was very jazzed about. I can't remember what it is right now, but they just do like good work, and they've done a lot of like ports and shit, like very standard. They did the really good Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Yeah, everyone loves that.
Yeah, and so now instead they're being folded into Blizzard to basically make content for probably like Heroes of the Storm and fucking Overwatch.
You make Overwatch skins now.
That's what you do. It's kind of like when you get sent to the Forza mines at Microsoft. Or the Call of Duty mines.
No, they didn't do... Okay, I thought they did Transformers War for Cybertron, but they just did...
They did a port.
Yeah,
they did like one of the ports
stuff for
of
the
it
movie,
to like
the movie
Game Boy
games.
Advance or something. Okay. But no.
Ultimate Alliance. They did Ultimate Alliance.
It just sucks. Like, you made something cool and good, and this is your reward. Like, don't... If there's ever proof that you should never work in AAA, like, between the soul-crushing crunch of Cyberpunk 2077 and like the shitty response, like again the director of Cyberpunk 2077 put out like this video like apologizing, and in the middle of apologizing they blamed QA, which it's not QA's fault that your game was broken. Trust me, QA found all of those problems and they told you about them, and then you didn't do anything about it because you were you were selling a scam video game that didn't work and broke people's PS4s. It's not QA's fault that you did that, trust me. So you can either be crunched to death and have your boss blame QA for all the problems that you already knew existed, or you can do really good work that sells extremely well and you get sent off to the mindless content mines. Those are your two options. Have fun. Like, never work in AAA. If you have any desire to work in video games, just stay indie. I know it's a more broke life, but whatever. It's not like game devs in the United States makes that much money anyways.
You're gonna actually have to make the content you want.
Yeah, no, fuck that. Play more indie games. Hades is game of the year because it is an indie title. Yeah. Fuck Cyberpunk 2077. I mean, like, man, fucking... Just... it sucks so much shit. Like, no wonder fucking Vicarious Visions was not talking at all about, like, a Pro Skater 3 remake. like 3 and 4. Like, that should have been the obvious next step, but like, no, they didn't bring it up at all, even though the game was a hit. And it's like, oh, that's why, because by the time 1 and 2 came out, like,
Blizzard,
it was probably already in the talks that they were going to be folded into Blizzard.
Blizzard was already at their window.
Yeah, smacking their lips and, sharpening their knives, like horrid
like a
wolves.
giant lady in a mansion.
Yeah, except not sexy at all. Not sexy in the least. Mostly just demoralizing and rage-inducing. I wish it was sexier. That would be nice. That would mean that we're all winning. We had like an 8-foot-tall vampire lady trying to snack on us. I do consider that winning. So, it's fine.
All right, that's all the news I got, though.
All right, let's wrap this up and call it a night.
Thank you, Visitor, for using background music. You can follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity. You can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to listen to Sara rant about other things that are happening to her characters, you can listen to her other podcast.
Hey, I'm in another podcast called Big Game Nerds, where me and a bunch of cool queer friends get together and we play tabletop games. We try out lots of different systems. It's a lot of fun. Right now, we are back at Masks, a new generation, a Powered by the Apocalypse system based around being young, burgeoning superheroes trying to find their place in the world. It is easily one of my favorite blocks we've done. We have a lot of episodes already up for it, so come check us out at Big Gay Nerds on SoundCloud, and you find the links to the rest of our social media from there. Thanks!
Yay, that'll do it for us. Which one do you got this week?
God. Fuck all of these, like, hedge fund dipshits on Twitter who are complaining about, like, some Redditors playing the market. Because, like I said earlier, you already do that, assholes. Like, there's so much fucking, collusion in stocks of, like, people deciding to buy this and do that, or everybody jumping on a fucking bandwagon and hyperinflating the value of, like, fucking Twitter and Facebook. Like, Twitter and Facebook are not worth the billions and billions of dollars that these dipshits say they are, but, like, everybody just gets together and agrees that, like, yep, they're worth this much. Like, fucking WeWork, that like, real estate rental, like, Airbnb, but for, like, office space company, they were valued at something like $10 billion before it all came crashing down. And it was like, anybody could have looked at that fucking company's books and be like, no, this company's not even remotely worth that much. But then, like, everybody got together and agreed, like, yep, it's worth this much, so that when it crashed, it just wrecked everything. And then you want to complain about a bunch of dorks doing exactly that, but, like, on a way more fun level that's making them rich, but not you. Go fuck yourselves. I hate capitalism, and I hate hedge fund workers. Like I said, if you work at a hedge fund, you don't have a real job. I'm sorry. Like, you produce no valuable labor whatsoever. You are barely a step above a landlord. So don't get too fucking cocky about, like, how much money you make, because you do nothing to enrich anybody's lives except for, like, yourself and your even richer fucking bosses. Go fuck yourself.
I saw someone who was like, yeah, you're laughing now. What does happen to a company you like? And it's like, we don't like any companies. That's the point. That's why we find this so funny. I don't like
any companies. Yeah, exactly. Any company I do like is not traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Like, fucking Supergiant, they're not traded on the stock exchange, so it's fine. Like, it's not gonna happen to them because they know what, like, a fruitless effort that is. Like, no. Fuck that shit. I hope it all crashes and burns.
Good night,
everyone. Good night, everyone.